Hi, I'm Dr. Mark, and I'm a voice teacher and stage director. Whether you're a professional pop or rock star that's wanting to take your performance to a next level, or you're just interested in making your car singing or shower singing easier and more comfortable and fun, I can help you get there. I'll start doing that today by reacting to and teaching you singing and performing tips that we can learn from the top performers around the world. Let's learn from Sohyang performing Hug Me in the DMC Festival 2018. Here we go.
서러운 마음을 못 이겨 잠 못 들던 어두운 밤을 또 견디고 내 절망과 상관없이 무심하게도 아침은 날 깨우네 상처는 생각보다 쓰리고 아픔은 생각보다 깊어가.
Okay, notice where her eyes are going. She's playing to what I call the second balcony. It's playing right up, almost at between a 30 and 45 degree angle up, sometimes even a little bit higher. And it gives us the Pikachu effect. Gives us a shiny light in our eyes. It makes the audience think that their eyes are so sparkly. It makes the eyes seem open and pretty and helps us feel like this character is vulnerable, like they're sharing something with us, like it is something that we should be empathetic towards and that we should believe what they're saying. It's a really cool habit to make that singing to the second balcony our home base. It's a great home base to have. So you'll notice here that she does go to this closed eyes moment, but just for a moment, then she pops it right back out to this 45 degree angle. Gorgeous.
널 원망하던 수많은 밤이 내겐 지옥 같아 내 곁에 있어줘 내게 머물러줘 네 손을 잡았네.
Okay, hold on. The first two high notes there were really tall and back and gave us this more operatic sound. It was warmer, it was richer, and we got that vibrato in there. Then this last note, she popped the A in there, the upper two smile came out, and we got this pop, brighter sound. We still had a little vibrato in it, and it was a really gorgeous sound, but that's what made those sounds different.
놓치지 말아줘 이렇게 네가 한 걸음 멀어지면 내가 한 걸음 더 가면 되잖아.
Something you can do today to get that ass space back there, put your tongue behind your back molars. Feel how when you do that, it kind of opens that space? Now try to open that space behind your back molars without putting your tongue back there. Notice how it still opens that kind of space? That's a similar way to getting that ass space. So if thinking about keeping an A in the back doesn't work, if you try to keep that space behind the back molars, it will achieve a similar result for you.
하루에도 수천 번씩 네 모습을 되뇌이고 생각했어 내게 했던
Song's getting more intense, so her hands are becoming more active. She's not standing, she's just sitting there. Her face is still really expressive, but you'll notice her left hand there is starting to move more and become more expressive. This is really important. As the emotions become more intense, as the music becomes more intense, our body needs to become more intense too. So because she started at such a low physical level, meaning she's sitting and she really wasn't doing a lot, she's just using her face to be expressive, it bought her room to then do more here later, meaning that all she has to do is add in a hand being more active in this next section for us to still feel a significant increase in emotional energy. So the lesson here is, if you don't have to do it to communicate it, then hold back. If you don't have to use that part of your body, if you don't have to move, do with as little as you can to still get the emotion across so that you have somewhere to go later in the song. When you get to the big climax moment, feel free to use whatever you want at your disposal to get that across. But if you hold back here at the beginning, then you'll have that to give later on, and it'll actually mean something.
모진 말들 그 싸늘한 눈빛 차가운 표정들 넌 참 예쁜 사람이었잖아 넌 참 예쁜 사람이었잖아 제발 내게 이러지 말아줘 날 잘 알잖아.
Notice how she's not letting those low notes get swallowed in back. She's keeping those low notes as bright and forward as she can. Yes.
내 곁에 있어줘 내게 머물러줘 네 손을 잡은 날 놓치지 말아줘 이렇게 네가 한 걸음 멀어지면 내가 한 걸음 더 가면 되잖아 내겐 내가 없어.
When I started this last section, you'll notice that this tongue wanted to pull back and kind of get tight along the edges a little bit. It created a warmer, richer sound there, but it was also a little more restricted, a little more held back, and there's a little bit of tension there in the tongue. Then right here in this moment, you'll notice that this A vowel, that tongue was nice and forward and flat. She's just getting different colors and sounds here. If I remember correctly, those other vowels at the beginning were more O, U oriented, and which also can create a similar kind of shape with the tongue, and the tongue's going to want to pull back a little bit on those. That A is going to help keep it nice forward. So she's giving us a wide variety of sounds and shapes here, but notice that tongue does influence the sound that we're making. And it also influences how easy that sound is to produce.
난 자신이 없어 네가 없는 하루 견딜 수가 없어 이젠
She didn't like that high note. You notice how all of a sudden she pulled out of her character and she did a futz with her hair thing that had nothing to do with the character in the moment. That was her brain all of a sudden being like, something went wrong there. It didn't feel right. It wasn't how she wanted it. But then she was a real pro. For most people, they wouldn't even notice it, wouldn't even see it. It wouldn't really even bother them. But since that's my job, that's a moment where I was like, ooh, that body language says that she's not happy with that note herself. But as a pro, she didn't show it in her eyes. She tried to stay, and she got right back into character. She didn't let it derail her at all. And that's the sign of a true pro. We're going to have moments as a live performer where we're not completely happy with what's going on. And we're not happy with the sound we're making, or something goes a little weird and it draws our attention away. That's normal. What we want here is we want to be able to stay right in that character and not let that kind of moment that could derail us actually do it, but stay right in character. Nice, consistent airflow, little bit of air traveling fast. The breath support, meaning the lower abs, lower back muscles staying suspended out, are what's letting her carry through this really long phrase without a breath and having it sound so easy and nice. Love it. Interesting. Really, in this performance, that tongue is really wanting to pull back more than I've seen in any other performance. Interesting. I wonder why that's the case. I wonder what is going on here, whether it's a color she's going for, a sound she's going for, or just a moment where that's happening. I don't know. It's really interesting. But from what I've seen so far in the other performances I've watched, it's not characteristic of her. Huh. I wonder if it's because she's sitting. I wonder if her body doesn't feel as connected, if it's harder for her to feel as engaged. So maybe she's compensating a little bit more. She's feeling like she has to work harder because she's not as connected with the rest of her body. When she's usually singing, she's usually standing, and she's usually really active and really grounded, really using her legs a lot, and these stances that really help her stay connected to that entire voice. Maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. I don't know the story behind this particular performance of the song. I'm not sure if she's sitting because it's an artistic choice and because it made her look more vulnerable and it kind of seemed to match the whole ambiance of this song, or if because she wasn't feeling well or something else was going on. I don't know. It'd be really interesting to hear. Some of you probably know better than I do with the backstory and what's going on in this song with her as an artist and person, and not just what the actual performance is calling for. I'd love to hear what you know and what you'd have to say here. Maybe it is just an artistic choice, in which case it was great. It worked well for her. What can you do today to learn from her performance here? Well, practice right now being able to go back and forth between sitting and standing and trying to keep the same feeling of connection and keeping the rest of that mechanism easy, lined up, relaxed, and comfortable so that you can sing in any position you need to and still get that easy, consistent sound. Not to say that that wasn't happening here, but there's some question marks here that I was seeing that were unusual for her, that were not part of her normal pattern that I've seen. That made me wonder. So practice that today. Another thing you can do today is to practice singing each of your vowels with your tongue not getting tight and tense, not wanting to pull back. Saying each vowel with the tip of that tongue touching the back of these bottom teeth. A, I, U, E, O. If you feel wanting to pull back and get tight again, later on, if you become really adept at it and there's a reason to pull that tongue back to get a certain sound that you want, great. But you want to be in control of it and have that be a choice and not a habit. Because in general, we want that tongue out of this resonant space in the back so it doesn't shut it down and make it harder to produce a sound, make it less resonant, make it so that these vocal folds want to compensate for the lack of resonant space. As always, I love her performances. I love listening to her voice. I love watching her. She's so expressive and her singing is so wonderful to hear. In this performance, I'm hearing more warmth and richness than I've heard in other ones. She's really giving us some unique sounds here for her voice, where this placement is not just in this forward, buzzy, sinusy place, but it has some warmth and richness. It pulls back into a little bit softer place. And that's really fun to hear in her voice, to hear these new colors and shapes. If you want a voice lesson, a performance coaching, or want me to work with you or your group to help you sing easier or perform at a consistently higher level, book a time with me at mrperformingartstudio.com. I look forward to working with you online.